Alright, what's good all? So yeah, it's been a bit since I've put anything out on the YouTube side of things. Was having some PC issues which are fixed now. Now I just gotta stop being lazy and get about it. So in that effort of not being lazy, I'm gonna take some lazy content and make a ban list video. Let's get into it. Just to kick things off right off the bat, as a purple player, I was trying to figure out what cards actually were the most problematic within purple. All the bosses just kind of do whatever they're going to do. Some of them kind of play pseudo the same, some of them play a little bit differently. But a lot of the lists have the same bottom end. And yes, you can hit the level 4s that draw cards, but I don't think that actually does the thing that people are going to want it to do. Because if you hit Dober X, you hit Garuru, you hit all these cards and you put them to 1, there's just going to be new ones that replace them, or new ones printed that replace them. There's going to be some form of draw, discard, mill, or just discard cards from your hands, as it were. So hitting the main ones that benefit the most from that, Pseudomon and Gaogamon, I think are absolutely great, since they're the two most generic and the ones that are played in the most. After that, I would say Labramon, because of its inheritable to gain memory when something is played, which is all purple does, really. But the ability to recycle dark animals if you are on a dark animal deck, you know, like Dober X, Cerberus, or a Shaman, like the one of Anubismon. It's another good one to hit, because it can just recycle pieces and gain memory. Going into the next section of purple is the SOC, or more accurately, the Fenrilooga deck. I actually don't think that putting Baumon to 1 is what people want to do. I know that people want to do it because it's an easy card to look at and go, oh, it's not once per turn, you have to climb from just, or you get to climb from just doing your things, blah blah blah. Yes, but you still have to put all that memory into it. The card that really does the most damage is actually Fenrilooga Takamichizuki, and let's be honest, Bandai needs to stop being afraid of hitting super rare, secret rare, and any kind of rarity, since they more often just go after the common, uncommon, and rares. You gotta hit the things that are going to do the most damage to a meta, and the fact that you can do all of that with Baumon and then just snap the turn right back to yours via the Fenrilooga, and then still OTK and do it a little bit safer, since you're stripping cards out of security and not having to check each individual card. That's one less chance of hitting a option that could remove it. So yeah, that would actually be my call, is to leave Baumon at 4, but hit Fenrilooga, the level 7. Alright, and then Jack Raid. With Jack Raid, I'm just going to talk about the other two at the same time. Jack Raid, Gravity Crush, Blinding Ray, they're the only 3 of the zero cost options that do something involving memory. Either giving you memory or cheating a little bit of memory, with like how HPD does. But they all work within their respective decks. 2 of those are already at 1, so you might as well put the other 3, especially since one of them is a enabler for Magnamon X Antibodies protection effect, and can be used without having to have a card in security. Gravity Crush, yeah, you lose 2 memory at the end of turn, but most of the decks that play it are playing into an OTK anyways, so there probably isn't going to be another turn, but just for sake of fairness, putting that at 1. And then Jack Raid does just like Hammer Spark, gaining you 2 memory out of security when it's checked, but also for every 10 cards in your trash, which is very easy to do with purple, and loop them back to keep going with the memory. This is actually a hit for a lot of different purple decks, so yeah, but it's 1. And then the last of the purple cards, the Koichi Tamer for Purple Hybrid. I honestly don't know where you can go with Purple Hybrid. With hits to it, I feel like Koichi on deletion to gain a memory, since that's what the deck wants to do anyways, is just delete, recycle the Tamers, gain the memory, keep setting up, keep doing things. I feel like that one could be hit, but there probably is parts of the newer support that could also be addressed. This, I feel like, is probably a fine starting point, though. Alright, generic cards. Ukomon. Ukomons are just a problem when they are level 3s. They are incredibly generic. Their effects are incredibly powerful. We seen what kind of damage Ukomon that evoed for 0 could do with accelerating a game and just keeping swings going. And this Ukomon, while it doesn't accelerate the game via memory, it is accelerating you finding your parts, and it can still just be checked in security. You're still getting that hatch and draw off of the follow-up evo. Yeah, so Ukomons are just a problem. So this one should probably go to 1 as well, since that would also be a hit to several decks. X-Antibody Protoform. The X-Antibody options are really good. This one just also has the added benefit of being a evo cost reduction, recycling back to security, and recycling a card back to hand out of the stack. That does a whole lot. So yeah, this probably should be at 1. The only other yellow card, Patamon. Patamon with the 3 Great Angels and other vaccine decks does everything the deck wants it to do. It gives you memory, it sets you up, and the most important fact, and the reason why I think it should be at 1, isn't so much that is the combo starter or the starter engine of it. While that is a fact, it's even if you fail to evo, you're getting knowledge of your security that is normally private knowledge, and you're getting it so much earlier than other parts of the deck can do. Yeah, there's the MirageGaogamon that can do the same thing by looking through security, but that's also got a higher play cost than 3. So if you want to hard play that and do it, by all means, but this is doing everything and giving you that knowledge of, do I need to be aggressive, do I need to be defensive, am I set up, do I need to build more? It gives you so many different routes to go. So yeah, Patamon can go to 1. Then we go into Mirage. Everybody's tired of seeing it, as anybody can tell from that thumbnail. It's a strong card. If the all turns was just your turn, I think people would have much less of an issue with it, and this wouldn't even be talked about. It would be talked about as it being annoying, but not to where it needs to go. And it needs to go because the fact that it just steals the turn away from your opponent. They never get to start. Unless they have a mem setter, I believe. But it's played in so many different blue decks, not just its own. At this point, it's becoming very problematic, and I actually feel should be at 0 and not 1. We'll get to that one in just a second. Let's talk about the Digimon cards. Return to the Ancestors or Return to the Primogenitor. Very strong card. I don't feel that it is so strong though that it needs to go to 1. Yeah, it does do a reduction in evo cost, and it does have a deletion protection clause, but it's not protecting from DP minus. It's not protecting from, if the DP minus is high enough, it's not protecting from bounce. It's got things that can work around it, which would then make it XVmon, Stingmon, and Davis and Ken. Honestly, I feel like all 3 of these should be at 1. I know that there's going to be a lot of people that argue that Davis and Ken should go to 1, or Davis and Ken should stay, but XVmon should go to 1, or XVmon and Stingmon should go to 1. If there is an argument for any of the 3, then those arguments are valid for all 3 of them. These 2 give you memory. This one gives you memory while stripping sources, but it also kickstarts things by letting you just play out the low level bodies so that you can just get going even faster, and everything that it plays, assuming that it's not playing the promo Vmon, finds you pieces and cards. So yeah, that's kind of an issue when you're doing everything for as free and easy as the Imperial deck does it. Does it break? Absolutely. Any deck has that part. And does it feel bad when you don't see the things? If you're the person playing it, yes. but when it's doing its thing, it runs so perfectly, and it isn't hard for it to recover into that state. So the 2 cards that give memory back, one also having jamming, and then the one that can kickstart all of it should probably be gone, because when you play your things out, you put your opponent to 2 memory, and you just go, just kidding, I'm gonna snap it back to 1, and if my Imperialdramon just happens to die in security, I get to do it again. Yeah, that's kind of annoying. Alright, now cards that I actually feel should be choice restricted, not necessarily banned or put to 1. Sayo and Ko, Ko and Sayo. These ones are absolutely fine within the Galaxy deck. There's no issue with them. The main problems come from their usability in other things within their respective archetypes and how those are getting put to use. Like the ability for this to just rapidly climb into the links and floodgate your opponent, or to rapidly climb into a Mirage and start a loop of your opponent never getting to draw a card, because they never get to have a turn. I'm sorry, they would be drawing a card because you'd be playing something out via effect and then stealing the turn away from them. Within their own decks, they're absolutely fine. It's when they're getting abused in other things, and I think just like choice restricting the archetype in some way so that they can't be that abused, which actually is my argument for Shoto. I think if you hit Mother to 1, the entire D-Reaper deck, whether you love it or hate it, is just gone, because they've got 1 Mother. There are ways to out it now. Yeah, it would just be over. Shoto, on the other hand, when you're able to interact with Mother to give a block, or when you're able to interact with Fenriloogamon, another pseudo-invuln creature, and give it blocker, and just make these almost uninteractable boards. I don't think it's too late to errata Shoto to have the clause of it can only give these effects, primarily that blocker part, to something within its own archetype, whether it be Liberator, Bird, Avian, Bird Dragon, something, so that it just locks it into that archetype. Because otherwise you have it being played as prevalently as it is in Demon Lord and Royal Knight and the aforementioned Shoto Mother. It's going to be a problem, and it's not honestly that strong if it was just locked to its own type. But yeah, those are my thoughts. Hopefully I will be having more videos coming down the line. If you like the video, please leave a like. If you dislike it, leave a dislike. Leave a comment where things could improve, your own thoughts, how wrong I was in all of this rambling, and I don't know anything that I'm talking about, because there's going to be people that have that, and honestly that's fine. That's just the nature of the game sometimes. But yeah, if you want to come hang out with us on Twitch, we'll be live on there different points throughout the week. Things are kind of in flux a little bit right now, so just pay attention to that. If you want to come hang out, we play the digital game, we play the RPGs for Digimon, as well as a variety of other RPGs and FGCs. But yeah, later on.